What's going on, my friends? Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week as always. I wanted to talk about something today, which is real science and health stuff that a lot of people, especially the experts on television and a lot of people in the mainstream media, will not talk about, which is forced isolation. You know, they call it social distancing. I call it forced isolation. I think that social distancing is a nice branding word for forced isolation, but we're going to talk about the health aspects of forced isolation. How healthy is it? We'll look at the science. And my question is this a prison sentence or even worse? And this is all perspective, but is it a death sentence for the poor? So we've speculated on the mortality rates in the mainstream, the World Health Organization, CNN. They've talked about mortality rates. They've talked about spread. They've talked about cures. They've talked about, herd immunity. We've talked about all that stuff, but finally, and I'm going to explain my point, I'm not just going to make stuff up out of thin air. I'm going to use Forbes, BuzzFeed, Local Sweden, Guardian, a lot of mainstream sources to explain the science behind forced isolation and the things that they're keeping us from and how that is going to have a health and scientific impact on us. So I'm going to ask the question that a lot of people are not, which is social distancing and forced isolation. Is it a prison sentence for the poor and the middle class? Because if you're wealthy, I call it an isolation vacation. If you're Arnold Schwarzenegger, you could post selfies in a hot tub. You got a, 2-story house. You got an outdoor that looks like an amusement park. But if you're poor or middle class, you don't have access to that type of stuff. It's your schedule, it's your work, it's your job, it's your activities, it's the sports you play, it's the people you meet up with. These are the things that keep people alive. And when you live in an area that's enclosed and you don't have a lot of space, like a lot of the people in this country that are poor or middle class or even upper middle class, depending where you live, you don't have space, you don't have access to resources. It's your schedule and getting out of the house that keeps you alive. So the fact that so much of the country's been shut down, this is the angle that nobody wants to talk about, and there's real science, there's real data, and there's real health experts to back it. So that's the story of the day. We're going to sip some coffee. I'll say what up to everybody for a few minutes. Then we're going to talk about forced isolation, aka social distancing. Is it a prison sentence for the poor? This is the angle that has not been visited almost at all, and I got 6-7 articles to back up what I'm saying. And this needs to be brought into the equation at bare minimum. Don't have to agree with me, could think the exact opposite, but if you're not equating the real health adverse effects to what's going on, you're not being honest. So let's talk about it. God bless you guys. Someone said try living in a 600 square foot house on disability. I hear you, brother, and I'm here to speak up for not only myself, but the tens of millions of people losing their job, the hundreds of millions of people who can't access things that they can normally access, and for some reason, people want to make this a political game. On the left wing, they want to blame Trump for, Pearl Harbor or something. On the right wing, they want to just defend Trump to the fullest. They think their job as a United States citizen is not to protect the Bill of Rights, not to protect the Constitution, not to protect the freedom of other people, not to stand up for the tens of millions of people losing their job and business, not to stand up against tyranny. They think their job is just to be a spokesperson for tyranny because they want their party to win, and that's just not what we do here, especially in the face of tyranny, especially in the face of what we're witnessing, which is forced isolation and the adverse effects that it has. We're going to talk about it. God bless you guys, and let's move on. Matthew said it's a prison sentence to all. I feel you, brother. Melinda, I hear you. We're going to get into it. God bless you guys. Brian, God bless you. Bridget, God bless you. You said ask Elon about the millions of satellites he's putting up. You got to ask him yourself. I don't have his phone number. He just retweeted me one time. Someone said I'm healthy, but last few weeks I've had pain in my chest. I have stress from what's going on. I feel you. I mean, it's we're going to get into it. I got to just sip my coffee. Give me like 30, 40 seconds, and then we'll get into it. It's good coffee. Someone said people are depressed right now. Listen, cheer up. It's okay. We're going to have a good day, but we need to talk about this stuff. And I feel like this is one of the angles that's just not being presented. So, and these are the type, I'm just going to read this. Jesse, thank you for being here. These are the type of comments that just need to calm down, because Jesse says Trump has to do things with tact. There are many factors in this. Jesse, your brother, your job, We're talking about health. We're talking about tens of millions of people. We're talking about freedom. We're going to talk about the Bill of Rights. We're going to talk about the immune system. Your job is not to be a PR team for Donald Trump, Jesse. This is a bigger deal than that, man. We're talking about reality. I'm not even going to specifically blame Trump for this, but it's like the amount of Trump supporters and Republicans who just think their job is to be like a dog on a leash for the Republican Party. It's really, really pathetic. I mean, you know, what I'm about to talk about is bigger than that. It's affecting hundreds of millions of people. It's negatively impacting the health of hundreds of millions of people. And you think your job is just to be a PR team for Donald Trump. Listen, he's not 100% responsible for this. But regardless, it's like, are you going to stand up against lies? Are you going to stand up for truth? Are you going to stand up for tens of millions of people who are losing a lot right now and who are hurting? Or are you just going to step all over them and sacrifice them to the fire and say, this is what it takes for him to do things sometimes? It's like, no one's saying that that's not true. No one's saying that there's not a chess game to be had. But, you know, when you're an American citizen, your chess game is not to be a PR team for tyranny. And it's just disgusting, disturbing, and to be quite frank, pathetic. How many people think that that's their job as a citizen, to make excuses for tyranny, to make excuses for the loss of freedom, to make excuses for forced health fascism, as I would really call it. You know, it's just disturbing. So, you know, just relax. All right, let me just clean off my teeth. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. It's ridiculous. And before I start, this is the difference between my channel and a political channel. I talk about politics. Obviously, a lot of people are interested in it, but that's not really what we do here. We don't sit on the surface level. This is deeper than politics. This is health. This is root level stuff. This is community. This is freedom. This is what we get to here. So if you want just a political tool or a political puppet or a political, you know, little puppet on the strings who just dances for the political parties, there's thousands of Republicans and conservatives that will give you exactly what you want to hear all the time. It doesn't matter how true it is or not. They will feed you that. This is not what we do here. We always go deeper. We always do better reporting. We do real journalism. And quite frankly, we do the stories that they don't want to cover, because if it doesn't go, you know, in what they want people to know, they won't cover it. And that's just not what we do here. So if that's what you're looking for, you know, there's 10,000 people on Twitter that all they do is just ride Trump's coattails, you know. We're providing value. So first of all, the story of the day, guys, is forced isolation, or as they call it, social distancing. Is it a prison sentence for the poor? Someone said earlier it's a prison sentence for all. And they call it social distancing, and this is what they do a lot of times, whether it's women's rights, this, that. They brand it because they have to give it a nice name, whatever their social justice or their agenda is. They can't tell you the negative effects that come along with it. They have to brand it in a way that's compatible. So with this, they're branding social distancing. What it really is forced isolation. It's forced government shutdowns. It's forced government tens of millions of jobs. It's medical tyranny. You can't visit somebody in the hospital room if they're dying because, you know, you're not allowed to see them. And I know some people think that's okay. But anyway, point I'm getting to is forced isolation, I think, is a lot more of an accurate name. And the wealthy and the blue check marks and a lot of these people who can have hot tubs and they, you know, just stay home. I don't know that they understand what it's like to be poor or middle class or upper middle class, lower middle class, whatever, not wealthy. And it's not an isolation vacation. You understand? If I live where Arnold Schwarzenegger lives, I got a hot tub, I got you know, they probably have steam rooms and saunas in their houses. But if you're not on that level of financial, which is most of the country, it's not an isolation vacation. It's, you know, in my opinion, in my perspective, a prison sentence and a death sentence. And I'm going to get into the reasons why. If you're middle class, if you're poor, if you're anywhere on the threshold of just not really, really wealthy, and even for the wealthy, even if you're wealthy and you don't have a schedule, a lot of times that's your demise. But, you know, it's your job. It's your gym. You don't have a bill. You know, Chris Cuomo, probably Andrew or Schwarzenegger, they have built-in home gyms. If you're not wealthy, you go to the gym. You have to get out of the house. You don't have the resources. You're stuck between walls. You don't have that much space. So, the fact that all these people are dictating, it's good for you, it's good for you. They don't know that that's what keeps a lot of people alive. Their job, their hobbies, their sports, their activities, their exercise. And even if they don't exercise, they probably exercise more on a regular basis than they are right now because you can't really go anywhere. So everybody's walking less. This is in Forbes from April 6th. Forbes says Americans are excessively eating, drinking, smoking pot, playing video games, and watching porn while quarantined. So, to the people who care about science and health so much, isn't it interesting that they always leave out the negative effects of what's going on, and we're going to calculate them, and then you could decide, what's the better play. But eating more, obviously unhealthy. Drinking more, obviously unhealthy. I mean, alcohol deaths kill about 3 million people worldwide every year. 3 million. There's going to be more people that died from drinking than coronavirus, most likely, at the end of this year. So Americans are eating more, unhealthy. Drinking more, unhealthy. Smoking pot in excess, it's not healthy. Playing video games, it's not healthy. Watching porn, it's not healthy, and it's not really good for a relationship, I agree with the conservatives who say that they should probably have, when you sign into your bank or you sign into other, even adult websites, you have to sign in. I think they should probably do a sign-in for pornography websites. I think that's a good step. A lot of conservatives have been calling for that. Keep kids off of it. But anyway, all these things are terrible. When you talk about the leading causes of death in this country, you could look at heart disease. I don't know if it's number one, but it's up there. Hospital mistakes, I think it's like 250,000 a year. That's number 3, I believe, which is crazy. So you can't even visit your family member if they have COVID-19, knowing that the third cause of deaths in this country at about the rate, according to some reports, is about 250,000 people dead from medical errors. That's just a fact. Google for medical errors, you'll be shocked. It's pretty crazy. So when you know what the leading causes of death are, including heart disease, and you realize people are excessively drinking, eating, smoking, video games, how many thousands of Americans is this going to kill because you're not allowing them to do that? Moving forward, I'm going to go to, there's a great documentary, I forget what it's called, I think it's called Happy, but this kind of talks about it, the local Sweden. There's, in Liguria, Italy, is where people live the longest. Statistically, they found that that's where people have the longest average age, and they've been doing a lot of studies into it in Liguria. I'm going to read from local Sweden. They said, and this is in Italy, it's just a Swedish newspaper. While genetics play a role, more important, scientists say, are lifestyle factors such as active outdoor living and a tight-knit community and a healthy diet in low in meat and high in vegetables and legumes. But what were the first 2 to 3 things that I just mentioned? What keeps them alive? Why do they live longer than most elderly people around the world? Active outdoor living, which they're not allowed to do in Italy, so they'll show you charts and they'll say for sure we saved millions of lives because we kept people indoors. But they're ignoring the obvious science behind if these people are living longer due to their active outdoor living and tight-knit communities, and you take away their ability to go outside, their ability to live in a community, it's already scientifically proven that's going to kill them quicker, so they think they're stopping it. They could be doing more harm than good, and when Trump says, the cure may be worse than the disease, he's absolutely right on multiple levels, not just killing the elderly by taking away the things that keep them alive, like sunlight and communities, but also more eating, more drinking, more smoking, more watching porn, more playing video games. These are not healthy things. Look at even the professional video games. A lot of them are bent over. They got messed up spines and stuff because they've been playing. They're awesome. I love watching a good video game player, but it's not the healthiest hobby, and we know that. In BuzzFeed today, I'm surprised that they covered this, or I guess it was March 27th, so early on it's probably gotten even worse since it's May. The coronavirus pandemic has made the opioid epidemic even worse. The U.S. was already grappling with an epidemic of opioid overdoses, which they rarely ever talk about and they rarely ever cover. Do you know why? Guess what? When you watch television, what's the biggest sponsor, guys? No matter if you watch Fox News or CNN, what do you see on television? You see pill commercial, pill commercial, pill commercial, pill commercial, pill commercial. So, it seems like they care about your health unless it affects their bottom line. And if it affects their bottom line, isn't that weird? And then people think it's some sort of crazy theory. It's like, guys, money runs the world. What do car salesmen do? When they sell you a car, they try to sell the car. At the last second, they tell you something else you didn't know because they're trying to make a sale. That's unfortunately how a lot of, and then it's a theory anomaly, I'm so smart. It's like, no, that's literally how a lot of industries work. And what do you think? It's the sale to the highest bidder. So they don't talk about the opioid and the pill epidemic in this country, because that's where a lot of lobbying money goes for politicians. And also, that's where a lot of the money goes to fund these corporations to even, exist in the first place. So in this article, it says the U.S. was already grappling with an epidemic of opioid overdoses. People in recovery say the coronavirus outbreak has made getting treatment a nightmare. And you could read this article. There's many others of people dying left and right, and the numbers are way up in many communities for opioid crisis. Let's move on. This is a really pathetic article. I'm not even joking or being sarcastic. I don't know if this is a parody or not. I think it's not a parody. We could find out that it is. I think it's a serious, liberal feminist organization, but this is outside online. It says it's okay to eat more and exercise less during quarantine. Stop worrying about weight gain. The pandemic gives you enough to think about. I'm not even joking. This might be a parody, but I'm reading it. It's not. It's more like a feminist, don't worry about your weight type stuff. And in general, I agree with that. Life's too short. Don't worry about your weight. Don't sit around looking at yourself all the time. But if you care about people's health like I do and like the television claims to do, you could look at the leading cause of death in this country and in the world, and you could look at what could prevent tens of millions of deaths, and it is more exercise and, a better weight. That's just true. Big Pun, the rapper, he died. He was like 700, 800 pounds. At a certain weight, you put a lot of pressure on your organs and your body. That's just science. So the same people that say we got to close everything down because we got to save tens of thousands of lives, maybe more, maybe less, they're also telling you it's okay to eat more and exercise less, which will, in fact, kill you at a certain point. And statistically, if everybody listens to this magazine, you're talking about tens of millions of people living a shorter lifespan. That's just, when you span billions of humans, that's the effect it's going to have. So as they're telling you that they're saving lives, they're giving you advice that will end your life a lot quicker statistically. This is in The Guardian on a bigger scale. I'm not a fearmonger or anything, but that's all on a smaller scale. You're talking about the elderly that we know scientifically live longer because of community and sunlight aren't allowed to get sunlight and reach a community. That's going to affect tens of thousands, if not more, lives. You're talking about eating more, drinking more, smoking more. That's absolutely going to kill tens of millions of more people on a worldwide scale. When will it happen? Quickly, over time? That's never going to be studied because they don't care. But on an even more serious note, you have The Guardian, who says coronavirus pandemic will cause a famine of biblical proportions. Governments must act now to stop 265 million people from starving. So they told you this was 34 times worse than the flu. Then they told you it was 20 times worse than the flu. Then they told you it might be 12 times worse than the flu. Then they told you it might be 6 times worse than the flu. Now they're not talking about it at all because it might be 2 to 1 times as bad as the flu, and they're not quite sure with antibody tests, so they're not even mentioning it. And now they tell you that the food supply chain is being slightly threatened in the U.S., and on a world scale, it could kill hundreds of millions of people. So we need to save 1 million lives, but we might kill 300 million people. Oops, but we won't talk about that. We'll just keep moving the goalposts. And what I want to say is both parties are really letting them do that. Obviously, on the left wing, they're buying into a lot of the fear-mongering. They're buying into, they don't want to die. Obviously, no one does. But if you're going to look at the statistics of the world, this is why we have freedom. We could save 1 million, 2 million lives here or there. That's just how it works. I could shut down a whole industry, potentially save 2 to 3 millions of lives. But the reason we didn't do it in this country and around the world is because we believed in freedom over tyranny. And we've told ourselves, especially on the libertarian side, we've told ourselves that communism killed 90 million people. In theory, socialism sounds good and progressivism sounds good, but when it's acted out, you get less freedom, the government gets more, and they never do the right thing. We've always known that, but now that it's happened to us, everybody's so afraid of 60,000 deaths in this country. But I just told you, with opioid death, with overweight, with drinking too much, with indoors, with the obvious, the obvious signs between lifespan and community and lifespan and exercise and heart disease and exercise and diet. This is all study science. The cure is going to be worse than the disease. It's not even going to be close, especially if we threaten the food chain worldwide. It's not even going to be remotely close. We're going to do 200 times the damage, which is exactly why everybody, especially on the right wing, should understand this. And I say this stuff, you heard me before this, and people just want to keep yapping their mouths to say, but Trump is doing Trump. It's like, you're so brainwashed. You didn't even know Trump was going to run for president 4 years ago. You've never believed in tyranny. You've never believed in the sacrificing of the Bill of Rights. You've never believed in anti-First Amendment living. You've never believed in government force shutdown of tens of millions of people. But now you're bending over backwards, making excuses for something that just happened because you don't want to believe that, anybody's responsible besides the other people. But the truth is, when it comes to the decisions that were made, the emergency order, the 15-day shutdown, the 30-day shutdown, the, letting Fauci and the IHME models run the show, even as recently, I want to say, he's very outspoken. Trump is very outspoken about Sweden. He doesn't like what Sweden's doing. But do you know what Sweden's doing? They're giving people more freedom. So now Trump in 4 months just went from saying Sweden has too little freedom, they're socialist, to Sweden now has too much freedom. There's too much freedom for Trump. He's saying they should have listened to me. They should have shut down more. They should have shut down schools. They should have shut down, and this is all based on data right now that they're doing slightly worse. And when you talk about herd immunity, they might reach herd immunity next week. And then you're talking about, where's America in 3-4 months? We don't know the numbers until at the end of the year. That's why they use little time frames. Oh, Sweden's doing work. If they hit herd immunity next week and we don't hit herd immunity till December or 2022, then that's all going to change. And that's what they do. I had a debate yesterday with Nuance Bro on his channel, and he's bringing up these New York Times charts. And I'm like, bro, you can't see why these charts are deceptive? And he couldn't figure it out. They had UK. They showed a 10-year span of death. Then they showed Spain, a 1-year span of death. And then they showed Germany, a 4-year span, and then instead of showing the entire United States, they just showed New York City. What type of accurate chart shows 10 years for one country, 4 years for one country, 1 year for one country, in one city instead of the whole state? You could pick and choose, and especially if it's March through January, you pick certain years, you pick certain months, you could tell a story. Just read the book, How to Lie with Statistics. It's on Bill Gates' reading list. It's real easy to manipulate people with charts and graphs. And it's really easy to manipulate people with mortality rates. You lie about the numerator, you lie about the denominator, you can be like the World Health Organization. 3.4 death rate based on a fake numerator and a fake denominator. It's all a lie. And, it's not to blame one person, but when it comes to this stuff, I don't care who does what. Honestly, guys, I care about the truth. I care about our Constitution. And I want to play a clip. This is from the governor of New Jersey. This was on Tucker Carlson. Listen.
What authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order? How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this. We went to first of all, we looked at the data and the science.
So Tucker said, what gave you the authority to overturn the Bill of Rights? And the governor of New Jersey said, I wasn't thinking about the Bill of Rights when I did this. This is above my pay grade. Guys, this is not a small, whether you're liberal or conservative, the Bill of Rights, the Bill of Rights. Do you know what the Bill of Rights is? Do you understand the, the freedoms that you have in there? It's literally the cornerstone of what every conservative yaps about for the last 10 years. And you just had the New Jersey governor say, I wasn't thinking about the Bill of Rights. No, obviously, they've totally overturned the Bill of Rights. And the reason I'm putting this out is Trump is more mad at Georgia for opening against his tyrannical phase law. He's more upset and more outspoken against Sweden, who's now went from socialist to more free than America, and he's backing Murphy. Him and a bunch of the Trump little accounts that are blue checked and work for the Trump administration, they're saying, look, Murphy complimented me. Look, Murphy complimented me. He's getting along with people who don't believe in the Bill of Rights more than he's getting along with people who do believe in the Bill of Rights, guys. And the more you make excuses for this and the more you don't want to admit this, it's really just pathetic because that's how easy to both parties they can move the goalposts. You get what I'm saying? And this is, in my perspective, this is a prison sentence and a death sentence for poor and middle class people. You're taking away their gyms, you're taking away their jobs, in some cases you're taking away their businesses, you're taking away their exercise, you're forcing them to watch and consume more shitty media. Most of them on average, just because of the situation, aren't exercising as much. They're not walking around, they can't play sports, they can't congregate. This is scientifically proven to have a massively negative effect, guys. So your complacency, your arrogance and ignorance towards party lines over your own people have now put your, delusional allegiance over the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, tens of millions of lives, freedom in this country. I mean, at what point do you just stand up for the truth instead of making your whole shtick about defending somebody who doesn't need any defense and is on multiple occasions said, listen, guys, I like when people call me out. I like when people point out my mistakes. Just do it honestly. Don't be a sneak like CNN and MSNBC. That's business, whether it's Lindsey Graham or Rand Paul. Not everybody agrees with Trump all the time. And, Lindsey Graham is wrong more than he's right. And Rand Paul's right more than he's wrong. And Trump still plays golf with him. Try and say Rand Paul's a snitch when Rand Paul doesn't want to start a war. He likes Rand Paul. You know why? Because Rand Paul's a good guy and Trump knows it. So you should be a good person. You should stop making excuses for tyranny. You should stop sacrificing your brothers and sisters, the poor and the middle class people of this country who are on a prison sentence, who can't exercise, who can't go to the gym, who can't work. It's not your job to be a PR team for a president who sides with a governor who doesn't believe in the Bill of Rights over a governor who wants to open up and save tens of millions of jobs. I'm disgusted on all levels. I'm disgusted by the Chicago Democrat who's screaming about, arresting people. It's disgusting. Whatever, Lisa Lightfoot or whatever, she sounds like an anime character. She looks like something else, but that's a different story. I'm disgusted by Governor Whitmer. I'm disgusted by what Gavin Newsom's trying to do. I'm disgusted by what Phil Murphy's trying to do. I'm disgusted by what all the Democrats are trying to do, including Bill de Blasio, how he's mad at the Hasidic Jews. Listen, say what you want about the Hasidics. They go hard in the paint when it matters. They refuse medical tyranny. They don't want to listen to the social distancing laws. When push comes to shove, they're going hard in the paint. So I respect that more than a lot of other people, to be honest. And I certainly don't agree that the president keeps shifting the goalposts and his followers will just move to whatever. They go from socialism sucks to communism's okay now because, he's playing 5D chess and we just got to wait. Wait for what? Wait for 10 million people to lose their jobs? Wait for the food chain to be threatened? Wait for more farmers to waste millions of crops? Wait for, you to lose the Bill of Rights? You're waiting, and the complacency is going to hurt this country more than people who speak out like myself. So I would love to see more people do that, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation of, social isolation or social distancing as they call it. I call it forced government isolation. I call it forced government shutdown of business. I call it forced tyranny. It's medical tyranny on multiple levels, and it's really tyrannical and, in my opinion, fascist what they're doing. So I don't think it's called social distancing. I think it's forced isolation, and it's an isolation vacation. If you're wealthy, you can go in the hot tub and complain about how you're sad about your show. It's an isolation vacation, and if you're poor or middle class, it's a prison sentence. And in some cases, for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, it's going to eventually be a death sentence if this doesn't rearrange, because sunlight, eating habits, drinking habits, smoking habits, opioid and pill habits, community, getting outside, exercise, this is all scientifically proven, and it's not even remotely debatable. So if you're going to hyper count every number and count everybody who dies with COVID as somebody who dies from COVID, then you have to look at the other side of the equation. But Fauci's not going to talk about it. Birx is not going to talk about it. Unfortunately, Trump's not going to talk about it. He won't even talk about, he's siding with people who don't believe in the Bill of Rights over people who do believe in the Bill of Rights. It's not a good sign, but people are just going to keep jerking them. It's pathetic. It's like, well, look at his Twitter right now. He's just retweeting all the sycophants. David Harris Jr., who I like David Harris a lot. I met him. But David Harris, he's never going to question Trump. He's just going to compliment him and wear MAGA hats on a plane. Cool. Retweet. Ryan Fournier saying, I'm a Trump supporter. Thank you. He's just, you pat him on the back, he'll say thank you. So, Murphy complimented me. Thank you. Murphy's the best. Newsom complimented me. Bro, he doesn't even believe in the Bill of Rights. And then Kemp says, I don't believe in tyranny. I don't believe in the phase plan. The phase plan has no backing. And what's the Trump and Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci haven't even talked publicly at the White House in a while because they don't have science or evidence to back it up. Everything they did was a lie. They were wrong about the death rate. They were wrong about hospitalizations. Listen to Ron DeSantis. They said he was going to have over 450,000 hospitalizations. He had under 20,000. Every bit of the way was a lie. And they just keep moving the goalposts. And he sides with people who compliment him rather than, Republicans who defy him, to be quite honest, as they should. Bravo to Governor Kemp. The phase plan sucks. I don't care if Trump made it up, Fauci made it up, Dr. Birx made it up. I don't care if Trump's sidekick made it up or I don't care. The phase plan sucks. I don't understand it. They're talking about we're going to have to do this for 2 years because we're not going to hit herd immunity. Then what's the phase plan? It's just delaying the inevitable, and hospitalizations are nowhere near where they said they're going to be, nor will they ever be. Guys, it was all a lie. So I'm going to answer questions now, but that's my presentation of forced isolation. Is it a prison sentence for the middle class and the poor? If you're wealthy, if you're employed in the government, you can have the opinion that it's great. But if you're like, many people I know and how many people grew up, including myself, we don't have gyms in the house. We don't have space. Most families don't have that type of access to that stuff. The only way that you get it is by going to school, going to work, or going to the gym. And now that you've cut those off, you're forcing people into isolation. You're forcing them into an unhealthier lifestyle, and unhealthier lifestyles have a consequence. Just like, going out and spreading will have a consequence. And they don't talk about that consequence because these people never cared about that consequence. When they put the food pyramid on the television, eat grain, eat cereal. Did they tell you that cereal has sugar in it? Sugar is one of the biggest ingredients. Sugar is one of the worst things for the human body. I mean, that's been pretty clearly studied by many health experts, but they didn't tell you that. They just told you to eat it a bunch of times a day because they never cared about your health. Nothing they've ever done has ever signaled towards them extremely really caring. It's proved, and this is even in Salon and other articles, it was a collaboration between the government and big agriculture. There was money to be made at the expense of you. Drink milk 4 times a day, get healthy bones, and eat sugar cereal. Ho ho, you'll be really healthy. It's the same people. It's the same story over and over and over and over again. And if you think those people should determine the fact that the food chain should be threatened for hundreds of millions of people, the fact that elderly people who live long because of sunlight and outdoor activities get that cut off, they'll show the chart and say, this happened because we forced isolate. I could look at the chart and say, how do I know that the death rate didn't increase because you forced isolated? What do you think? If you say there's no virus, this is a hypothetical. Say there's no virus and everybody's just operating normally, and then you force everybody like they've done. I would guess in a controlled experiment, the people forced inside, they're going to kill more people that way. It's going to lead to unhealthier lifestyles. I mean, it's going to lead to weaker immune systems. So this is the science and the critical thinking that people don't think of. There's so many sheeps and lemmings in politics and news, and everybody's afraid, but this is just no virus. I'm not saying there's not a virus. I'm just saying hypothetically, everybody operating, going to baseball games, doing all this stuff, going out, and then everybody forced isolation. It's absolutely going to have I don't know till I study, but I would assume based on everything we know scientifically, it's going to hurt more people in multiple ways. Things that are happening now. Why is no one talking about this? People are scared. People listen to the media on both sides, and to be quite frank, when push comes to shove, most of the patriots who are supposed to stand up for this country are nowhere to be found. They're circle jerk hallucinating over what they think might happen in 3 months, which is based on corruption from 3 years ago, which has nothing to do with this. Not only are the people not locked up that they said were going to be, there's a whole new wave of people taking away your freedom. There's a whole new wave of people destroying your way of society. So even if they catch up on that corruption that they're about to do, with the new report, They just totally let something even worse than that happen. What just happened is worse than what they were even working on. So maybe in 3 months we'll take care of what happened 3 years ago. Well, they just did 20 times the damage than they did 3 years ago just now. And that's a whole new group of people. And they don't have a solution for you guys. So it's time to wake up. The patriots and the conservatives who can't grasp what I just said in this video are wildly useless. It's like shocking how useless they are. I'm proud of Georgia, and I think I'm going to go there because when push came to shove, Georgia seems to be the only one that actually believes in freedom over tyranny, so that's where I want to be. So I'm going to go there. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. All right, I'll take some questions now. But right now, we the people, our freedoms, our rights, our right to live a healthy lifestyle. You don't have the option to live healthily if you don't have enough money to have all the resources at your home. When I live healthy, I don't have those resources. I go out and do them. I can't go out and do them. Of course I'm living an unhealthier lifestyle. How could I not? It's not even possible. I don't have that much space. Someone said Trump needs to step in and free the people. He absolutely does. But if all his supporters say he's got to free the people, he'll free the people. If all his supporters are lemmings and say, well, anomaly, Trump, he's doing what he should do, but, he just signs with Murphy and he hates Sweden and Georgia because that's a part of the plan. It's like, these people are useless, guys. When push comes to shove, absolutely. In the business transaction, you have more than half of the party that's supposed to be standing up for the Bill of Rights completely silent, or they just say Constitution, and then when push comes to shove, they don't care. It's like a talking point for them on Twitter. All right. Let's get to some questions. Someone said, this is a good question. Jordan, what's up? Jordan said, this whole thing is insane to me, and I never thought people would be so easily tricked. I hear you. For years, you got to understand, people who just like started deep diving, they're like, I learned this 2 years ago, so I know everything because 3 years ago someone told me. It's like, guys, this stuff has been around for decades. I mean, you could read Bill Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse. He talked about it 30 years ago. But anyway, the point I'm getting to is I never thought this could happen because I thought police officers wouldn't put up with it. I thought the military wouldn't put up with it. And that was always the smoking gun. I was like, police officers and military would never do this to the people, but they are doing it to the people because they've been tricked into thinking it's the right thing to do. So, I hear you. It's shocking how quickly the people who are supposed to protect you and the conservatives and the patriots who are supposed to be there for you, it's shocking to see how quickly they can be duped into just becoming a PR team for it. It's like, I don't care if it's George Bush, Trump, Obama, Lisa Lightfoot or Leslie Lightfoot or something. I don't know what her name is. Newsom, it doesn't matter. It's like, guys, if you like me, let's say you like me, okay? Hopefully you do. You like me, I run for president, I'm serving you. You get what I'm saying? It's not a circle jerk competition to do whatever Anomaly wants. I'm the president of the United States. You have to hold me accountable if I'm being tyrannical. If I'm yelling at Sweden and Georgia for being free and I'm complimenting the governor who doesn't understand what the Bill of Rights are, that's your job to say, Anomaly, I like you, but you're doing the wrong thing. You're being a psycho. You're being tyrannical. That's your job. So whether you like me or Trump, they're public servants. They're supposed to be serving the people. You're not a cheerleader. Your job as an American citizen is not to just, pat people on the back all the time. They're public servants, guys. And this is not a small thing. It's not like, hey, I disagree with Trump on this thing. It's like the entire 1/5 or 1/4 of the whole job market, guys. I mean, wake the F up. I know you guys get it, but some people don't. It's shockingly pathetic. All right. Someone said Tom understands. Let's see. Someone said, what has the military been tricked into? Well, the point I'm trying to get to is everybody's had these theories for decades. And me personally, I said the military and the police would never turn against their people. Because you've heard all the theories, martial law. They've been around for decades, and how they use executive orders and FEMA to do this stuff. This is not a new thing. People have been talking about this since the 80s. I personally, what I'm trying to say is, I said I don't think that could happen because I don't think the police officers and the military would turn against the people. I'm not saying the military's really turned against the people. I haven't really seen that. But to be honest, there's a lot of police officers that are enforcing these laws. And I thought, I'm not blaming police or the military. There's a lot of great police officers. It's a tough situation. If you're in the military or the police, you take orders, and you don't want to defy who tells you what to do. I'm not blaming the military. They haven't done much at all, really, except for build stuff, from my knowledge. But police officers, you see police officers in Texas, police officers in really red states that are arresting people for opening their business. And it's just disappointing, I don't know that it's a majority of police, but it's not like, I don't know. I would love to see more police, I guess, just not enforce it. Or at least at bare minimum, just be like, I think this is a little crazy, but whatever. Someone said people are already protesting. Other than that, what do you think people can do? I've not to sound like a broken machine, but I've kind of said this whole time. Trump listens to his people, and I've warned people for the last year now. Most of his big blue check mark, speak at schools people, not to be mean, they're useless because they don't believe in anything. This is another thing. If my job is I'm a conservative leader and I stand up for free speech, guys, you should hold me accountable. If I'm not standing up for free speech, if I'm not standing up for the Constitution, what's the point of me being there? They're just phony puppets. So now you have all the big conservative, influencers. They're virtually useless. I mean, no offense, but you got Dan Bongino. He's screaming about the Constitution on Twitter. He interviews Trump, doesn't ask him a single question, doesn't ask him why he sides with Sweden over Georgia, doesn't ask him why he's being super nice to Newsom and Murphy, more nice than he's being to Governor Kemp. He didn't ask him about the lockdown. He didn't ask him about anything. So how are you going to scream about the Constitution, and then when push comes to shove, you get an interview with the president, you don't ask one real question? I like Dan Bongino a lot, but Mika Brzezinski gave a more fair interview to Joe Biden than Dan Bongino gave to Trump. That wasn't even an interview. It was just like a PR stunt. It's like, dude, this is the biggest crisis in modern history, and you don't ask a single question about it. What kind of a patriot are you? What American people are you really standing up for? And that goes, I mean, just scroll down Trump's Twitter. Everybody's just, please retweet me, Trump. You're the best. That's a problem, to be honest. So what can we do besides that? Just stand up for yourself and stop circling around these people who are, when push comes to shove, are completely worthless. They're worthless. What's the point of saying, I'm pro-Constitution, I'm pro-First Amendment, I'm pro-free speech, and then the president extends a 30-day lockdown, starts talking about how Sweden's doing too much freedom, and how, Kemp shouldn't have opened, and you don't hold him to that at all? Not even a thread? It's not his fault directly, but, I mean, he's the president, guys. He thinks Sweden has too much freedom. That's a little weird to me, but I guess they can move the goalposts on people, and it's just like a magician. They just move 30 feet, and people don't even notice. It's like the exact thing that you said you stood up against 3 years ago, you now think is okay because the guy who told you he was going to stand up for those things didn't actually do it. It's a little weird. So I think not even physically, but just, the zeitgeist of the support movement is just falling for this stuff. So if enough people were resisting it via social media, they look at this stuff. So, I think that's absolutely a way to do it. And there's way too many Trump supporters that talk a big game for the last 3 years, and even now, and then when push comes to shove, they don't want to do it. And I want to, there's a guy I follow, I want to give compliments because I don't like to be a critic, but somebody who I have seen step up, his name is Kurt Schlichter. I follow him. He's a big Trump guy. He's a big Second Amendment guy. He's like the only Trump supporter who's a Trump fanatical supporter who says, he keeps adding Trump and saying, open up now every day. He says, open up now. Open up now. He's the only one. It's like everybody else is a total con artist. It's like they care about popularity more than they care about the foundation of what this country stands for. And at the point, listen, guys, I'm somewhat popular. I mean, I have 5,000 people, 4,000 people watching this now. I am popular, which is not what I'm looking for. But in general, you shouldn't just allow me to get famous off of things that don't make sense. Like, the reason I'm getting a lot of traction now is because I'm doing 30 different deep diving videos that no one's doing. I make sense. I believe in what I stand for. If I don't, you shouldn't support me. I would hope that you do the same thing that you should do to them, which is say, bro, I like you, but like, what are you doing? You told me for 3 years you care about this stuff, and now you'd rather just get a pat on the back than actually stand up in those values. Whether it's Trump, Rand Paul, Lindsey Graham, it doesn't matter. They're public servants. They're supposed to protect the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And if they're siding with people who vocally don't care about the Bill of Rights more than they're siding with people who do care about the Bill of Rights, that's a problem, guys. It's a problem. Someone said, I totally see what you've pointed out. Thank you. Someone said, Trump is not a dictator. Go to your governor with your issues. Absolutely, but he is a leader, guys. He passed an emergency order. He passed executive orders, multiple of them, that are seizing power grid, other stuff. I mean, it's all been written by Bill Cooper. You could look at it. It's all happening, whether you want to believe it or not. But, we'll get through it. It's fine. But overall, he extended the 30-day shutdown, guys. He rolled out the plan. It's his phase plan. He's mad at Governor Kemp because Governor Kemp's opening. He's happy with Phil Murphy because Phil Murphy doesn't care about the Bill of Rights. He is the leader. Is he responsible for every... No, it is up to the governors, but giving him a free pass is a problem. Giving him a free pass. What can we do, Anomaly? Don't give him a free pass. He'll appreciate it. He's a strong guy. It's like Michael Jordan. Does he like... He respects the guy who plays good defense on him. He doesn't respect the cowards. You know, nobody respects the cowards. Nobody respects people who don't respect themselves. And it's not a little thing. If this was a little thing, I'd let it go. I'm talking about tens of millions of jobs. I'm talking about the fabric that runs this country. I mean, guys, this has already done irreversible damage to this country. And every day that Trump waits, every day that he questions Sweden, every day that he questions Kemp, every day that he sides with Gavin Newsom and Murphy over, Governor Kemp, that's tens of thousands of people's health, wealth. This is a big deal. So that's all. Just don't. Someone said Trump made a 3-point plan. It's a tyrannical plan. Ask who's doing interviews. Someone asked Trump, what's the science behind your plan? They all care about. There is no science behind the plan, guys. They're saying we need to get to herd immunity. We know the hospitals aren't overwhelmed. There's no science behind the plan. It's all tyrannical. There's no science. There's no health aspect to it. It's an unhealthy plan. It's worse for us. It's obvious now. So I don't care that he made a 3-point plan. I don't like it. Kemp doesn't like it. Kurt Schlichter doesn't like it. Laura Ingraham doesn't like it. Nobody likes the plan. Everybody just has to pretend like they like it because they don't want Trump to get mad at them. I don't care. I care about the tens of millions of Americans who are losing everything. Trump's not losing anything, okay? Trump has access to things. He can speak in a room with 20 people. I can't go to the gym. I can't go anywhere. I'm telling you, I'm not even kidding. I'm going to go to Georgia so I can live free. I'm not a freaking slave. So I'm flying to Georgia next week, and I'm going to live like a free citizen in the only state that actually allows it. So shout out to Georgia. That's what I'm going to do. Get out of here. Someone said, I'm a Trump supporter, but I absolutely agree with you. I've been saying it for weeks now. Oh, that's all. You don't have to hate him. You don't have to be mean at him. You don't have to say he's a sneak or something. Just say, open up now. Instead, but what are all these people saying? Oh, Trump, I'm going to vote for him. Yeah, this is so cool, communism. Like, that's so pathetic. I'm sorry. These people are pathetic. I don't care anymore. I wouldn't care. It's like, I only care when it affects this many people. It's like, just, oh man, Trump is going to vote for me. And he like retweets it. And then Trump's like, see, everybody loves me. Open up now, bro. That's it. I love you. You're cool. I like you. I don't want to make it weird, but I wrote the song I Like Trump because I like Trump. Well, no, you can't question Trump because you made the song I Like Trump. I like Trump. I do. I think he's hilarious. I still think he's the most talented person in Washington by far. But I want to open up now. I don't believe in his phase plan, and I have yet to see anybody even explain what the theory behind it is. Because every theory that they gave you for why they had the phase plan fell through, and they never corrected themselves. If I told you, guys, you have to destroy your business, you have to be quarantined for 2 months because of this, and then that doesn't happen, and then I extend it without ever explaining that didn't happen, this is tyranny, guys. This is fascism. It doesn't matter, and he's not opposed to it. He's just hedging his bets because he's running for office, and that's his job. Your job is to not be a pushover. Bang. Someone said Texas has become like California. It's sickening. You think I'm joking? I'm going to Georgia. I am free. I am an American. I believe in the Bill of Rights. I talk about it because I mean it. When I say I believe in the First Amendment, I mean it. And I don't get paid millions of dollars to say it because it's not a game to me. It's not an act, okay? I don't put on my suit and tell a bunch of college kids I believe in it just to go suck up lobbyist money and donor money behind closed doors and then sell it out when it's convenient. I really believe in this crap. So I'm going to freaking Georgia and I'm living like a free citizen, okay? I'm going to restaurants. I'm drinking what I want to drink. I'm eating what I want to eat. I'll get a massage. Maybe I'll even get my hair cut. I might go to a hair place and buzz all my hair off and buzz USA. Or maybe Georgia behind it, right on my head. That's what I'm going to do, because I actually mean it. These other people, it's okay when we do it. No, it's not just Democrat states, guys. It's all over the country, because we've laid a precedent. But I don't believe in it. Someone said nobody's stopping you from going anywhere, Anomaly, except your own fear. I'm not afraid. You think I'm kidding? I'm going to Georgia. Watch me. I'm not. Put your money where your mouth is. I'll go. I'm gonna be like Willy Wonka. Okay. I'm gonna be handing out tips to everybody. I don't have that much money, but I'm just saying. I'm gonna stimulate the economy myself. Put your money where your mouth is. I will. I'll go help stimulate the Georgia economy. Okay. I'm going. Cause Kemp did what you should do. Phase 1, open up shop. Phase 2, cut the bullshit. Not phase 1. Now we open 20% of the things for 25% of the social distancing. What's your science behind that, Fauci? What's your science behind? They don't have science behind it. What is it going to overwhelm the hospitals that don't exist? You got Florida, even DeSantis is doing it. Well, for a month we're going to do 50% of this. Dude, they expected 450,000 hospitalizations. You had under 12, 15,000. So what's the science behind it? Where's the logic? They don't have any, guys. Someone said, I believe in you, but the communists will come to Georgia too. I'm sure they will, but while I can, right now, I feel like I'm trapped in a land of the make-believe, okay? I feel like I'm trapped in virtual reality world, and not only just sit and play video games for 5 months. It'll be okay. Maybe we'll give you a check, maybe we won't. I want to be free. Where can I go? I'm like a little, gopher. I'm like looking around, like where can I go? And then I see Georgia. He says, I'm opening up. We got this, we got that. I'm like, I'm going there. That seems to be the only free place right now. So if it's coming, I'm gonna enjoy a week of my life before they sneak around again. Someone said, come to Georgia. I'll take you out to dinner. Thank you, Angelique. I'm not joking. People, put your money where your mouth is. You're afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm going. It's happening. Someone said, get the hospitals back up full steam ahead. 1,000%. It's going to be backed up for like 6 months now because they closed it down for 2 months off of false data. Someone said, Lindsey Graham supporting Joe Biden. Guys, I'm gonna give you a pro tip right now, and I'm gonna say it in the nicest way possible, and you should consider it. Lindsey Graham, sure, he's a nice guy. He did a good job in the Kavanaugh hearing. He has his moments, but foreign policy, terrible. He thinks Bill Gates should be the World Health Organization leader. Suspect. Trusting that guy's like trusting Mitt Romney. That's as close as Mitt Romney you can get without being Mitt Romney. He'll have his moments, but he's not it. Rand Paul, much better guy. All right, I'm going to read this. Hold on. Sean said, God bless you, your motivation ideals, but hearing you speak right now is giving me anxiety. Well, I don't want to give you anxiety. That's not what I want to do. But to me, I feel like people are getting like depressed and anxious being in the house for freaking 3 months. I'm trying to free the country. I'm not trying to, like, they don't have a plan, guys. It's like July. I don't know where you live, but some places July, August, I don't know, maybe November, maybe 2022. To me, there's more anxiety there. I'm not saying it to make people anxious. I'm just like, people are already anxious. Like, what am I doing? Maybe, I'm sorry. Maybe you smoked a little herb before this. You're like, shit, Anomaly be talking that. Sheesh. I'm going to read this comment. Denise said, you have the luxury of being able to simply go wherever you want. Those of us with family responsibilities can't do that. No, you're absolutely right. I hear what you're saying. I am free enough to be able to go somewhere that I want for a week and get away with it or move there. But it comes at a cost too for luckily I have a flexible job, but I also have friends and family and stuff. It's not easy to move, but no, I hear you. If you have certain jobs, you can't leave. Absolutely. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying everybody could just storm Georgia right now. I'm just saying I want to go. But while I'm doing it, I'm going to do my part to help you actually do what you want to do. I don't know. I can't do everything, but I'm not going to say I believe in the Constitution and then make excuses for people who don't care. Someone said the powers that be don't have a clue. They're winging it. I think that's partially true. But it's really simple, too, where it's like, there's a reason that people on the right don't like communism, and some people on the left don't even like it, but it's because in theory it sounds good, but when you give all your power to the top, this is why George Washington and all these people, This is why they gave you the Second Amendment. They have quotes on quotes about all this stuff. They were much smarter than our politicians now. We got dumber, guys. Read a Thomas Jefferson quote and then read a George Bush quote. It's not the same. Anyway, there's a reason they gave us this stuff. They didn't say, let them do it for a pandemic, and then you give them every right ever. It's like, no, there's a reason they said that. Because even during a pandemic, they always make it worse. It never works. It never works. It's like trying to light a house on fire and then build a house. It's going to burn down. It has a 0% success rate, and this pandemic just proved why. Oh, we might have messed up the food chain supply, but at least we saved 60,000 people here. Someone said, I'm going to read this. Hold on. Someone said, disabled vet here. I want out of Kansas. Where should I go? Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to tell people to move all about. Now people are getting mad at me. They're like, anomaly, I can't leave. I'm not starting a movement of like moving to Georgia. I just said I want to personally go to Georgia. I'm just weirded out by what's going on. I need a break. Someone said this is like a scene from Braveheart, freedom. That's what I'm saying. Like, you watch Braveheart, you don't actually do what he does, but you could do whatever you want. I'm not trying to like start a movement. Now I'm getting freaked out because people are like, should I go to Georgia? Where should I go? I'm a veteran. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just winging it. I'm not trying to make people anxious. I'm just like, I'm confused at why so many people who support a conservative president seem to think this is all okay. And like, they're like, I don't think it's okay, but I think he's doing what he can. I'm like, all right, you guys are useless. I'm just getting out of here. But no offense. Not you, but you know what I'm saying. Someone said you're dead on. Sorry for seeming rude. No, you don't seem rude. You're good, dude. Don't apologize. I'm not that big of a. I'm just exhausted with all this, like everyone. No, you're not rude at all. Don't worry. If you're anxious, you're anxious. I hear you. You could say whatever you want. I'm not a snowflake. I enjoy a little bit back and forth. That's why we do the question and answer. But I hear you, dude. Everyone's getting anxious. I mean, I work inside, but I figured out really quickly years ago I get sick more when I'm stuck inside. I haven't been sick in years because I get out. Now I can't go out. I'm at my friend's house for a month. I'm here for a month. I'm inside for a month. I'm starting to get anxious too. That's why I'm trying to get some exercise right now by freaking out. I'm just joking, but I'm like, it's like, where can I go? Oh, I'll go to the Thai restaurant and then I have to wear a mask. I'm in the Thai restaurant. I feel like I'm on the beaches of Normandy. I'm like, guys, this is not that serious. Like, and I'm not comparing myself to that. I'm just saying they're treating it like it, and it's nothing like it. Or, hey, it's just like, stop doing this. I'm so tired of it. Someone said he's doing nothing. He could stand up to these injustices, but he's not. It's crazy. I don't understand why people don't see that. It's one thing if he wasn't saying anything. You know what I'm saying? If Trump wasn't saying anything, still not good leadership, but whatever. He is saying stuff, but he's saying the opposite of the right thing. He's like, Sweden doesn't know what they're doing because they're giving now Sweden's too free. Now Georgia's too free for Trump. It's the wrong thing, guys. Stop backing it up. And it's not a mean thing. If I'm the president or I run your state and I'm doing this as a politician, I serve you. You don't serve me. You're not Trump's little server boy. That's what these people say. Maybe he'll invite me to the White House if I suck up to him more. It's like, guys, you're sucking up in the worst crisis. Normally when they suck up, they just annoy me. I'm like, these guys are such ass kissers. But now it's like straight up, it's like way worse. It's like 10. I'm gonna even suck up whenever we lose everything. It's like, guys, it's so gross. But whatever. I'm an Alabama boy working in Rochester. God bless. God bless Alabama. God bless Rochester. Someone said we need new social media platforms free from censorship. Well, they have BitChute. They have Gab and such. I'm on BitChute. You could watch if you watch me on here or YouTube, you could watch on BitChute. But I would say, though, for me, Facebook is cool. They've been okay. But, they're going overdrive with everybody. And it's probably only a matter of time until they try to catch me out of context. But I know the difference between, they could still probably come for me, but I know the games they play. You get what I'm saying? So I don't censor myself, but it's like, it's a chess game. I see what they're doing. And some people just say, I'm like, I'm not going to fall in your trap. I see it as a bear trap. I don't see it as censorship. They throw a trap. I don't have to walk there. There's a banana I want to eat. And then there's the bear trap that Facebook throws. it's not censorship because I'm like, I'll go get it. I'll go get another banana, and then I'll eat 3 bananas in that same spot. I'm just not stepping into the bear trap. So some people just free flow, and I respect them, you know, and I stand up for them because it's wrong that Facebook censors them. But I'm trying to avoid the bear traps. I see them. But they keep expanding the bear trap and the goalposts. It's like bigger and bigger. Like, if you breathe, in like a year, it's going to be like, breathing is against our policy because the World Health Organization says that there's no evidence that breathing's good for Americans. It's like, guys, it should be nearly illegal to enforce World Health Organization laws. I'm looking at airlines, and they're like, the World Health Organization says, why are United States Airlines taking advice from the World Health Organization? That's not American. At least take it from the CDC, and I don't even really trust them. But the World Health Organization, the global cabal that lied in January, lied in February, lied in March, still doesn't make sense. A week ago, they said that you can get it twice, and now scientists are saying you can't get it twice. There's nothing they've been right about. They've got to be. It's like literally you could get a monkey throwing a dart who could be more accurate than them. Like, yes or no. Octopus, you know, give a little game with the octopus where he gets a ball. Any animal could be more accurate than the WHO. Just in a 50, like, it's almost like they're going out of their way to be wrong. They're like 0 for 17. It's not even possible, guys. Flip a coin 17 times. See if you can get tails 17 times. That's the World Health Organization. But Facebook and Google, that's the god now. I'm going to read Diane. What's up, Diane? We'll get to more comments. Sorry. I got to get a little... You know, maybe if you watch this too, don't get anxious. Just, this is what I do when I play video games. I celebrate when I score. I'm really not that happy, but one, it's fun to act like I'm really happy. But also, it's exercise. You get what I'm saying? If you're stuck inside, you know what I'm saying? Let's work out a little bit. Don't be anxious. Just, you know, pretend like you're super happy about something. Make some moves, you know? Just make some moves with me and we'll get some exercise. Diane said, Trump's actions are confusing me as well. I can't understand why he's given all the power to Dr. Fauci. I mean, I hear you, Diane. We could speculate all day, but I think in this transaction of we the people and the governments, they're the public servants. We're not the servants of the public. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be serving the public. We're not serving the politicians. We're not public servants. They're public servants. You get what I'm saying? We're not servants. I'm trying to be witty, but you get what I'm saying. Dr. Seuss fail. So Trump supporters need to just step up. I mean, to me, it's just unexcusable. It's like, if I get an interview with the president, I'm gonna be nice to him. But how could you not ask a question about this, Bongino? Come on, bro. What was that? That was to me. I was just like, not a single question, not even a softball, nice question about it. Like, what about the Bill of Rights? Nothing. Whatever. Someone said Trump maybe just keep the fun. I just have to laugh at this stuff. People are saying the theory that Trump is exposing people, guys. He's exposing tyranny. No, they're implementing it. Yeah, it's implementing. I could expose a baseball to you and throw it at your face, and it smacks you in the face. Did I expose the baseball to you? Yeah, I exposed it to you, but I didn't just show it to you. I hit you in the face with this. So he's not exposing tyranny. He did it is tyranny. What you could say who's behind it, maybe it's the wrong move, the right, whatever. But it's like, it's exposing. It's past the point of exposure. Showing somebody is exposing. Smacking them in the face with the worst crisis in the middle, it's not an expose. Hey, look, I exposed the baseball. Oh, look at Anomaly's baseball. What? Bang! Oh, what the was that? No. I was just showing you it. I just showed you the baseball. No, you hit me in the face with the freaking baseball. Someone said this is bigger than Trump and bigger than Fauci. That's fact. That's a fact. Listen, now you guys are getting somewhere. That's the type of stuff. I like that. You're like, you can exonerate Trump with the real talk, and I'm like, that's facts. But if you just make excuses for dumb, that's what it is what it is. But it's like, say something real. Just be like, it's out of his control. It's like, you're not wrong. Yeah, maybe. Someone said, Tracy said, what's up, Tracy? Tracy said, this is an election year. Don't you think he has to walk a fine line? Once again, absolutely. He's now running for political office. if he wants to win an election, does he have to walk a fine line? It's a good question, Tracy. Yeah, I think so. I think now the game is split, the game is shifted, for sure. Valid, very valid. I think that's very true, But for me, and for a lot of people, the best part about Trump was that he didn't walk a fine line. You get what I'm saying? The best part was, whether it's popular or unpopular to say now, he's going to say it because he knew that the truth was popular. So if now he's playing the game of walking a fine line, it might win him an election, but it might cost you your freedom, It might cost some people their livelihood. So I think he's walking a fine line. But then the question is, does that benefit us? But that's a good question. Let's keep it going. You guys are on fire. Someone said Fox News is having a town hall tonight. Rochelle, who's in it? Is it? I hope it's Laura Ingraham. Laura does good interviews. She actually grills Trump pretty hard. Laura's been pretty on fire, at least on her Twitter. I don't know. I don't even have a TV. Someone said New York police are beating people for violating social distancing. That's terrible. I'm just gonna say, because sometimes people on here, they say Anomaly criticize. I don't even criticize Israel. I criticize American politicians for being stupid. I don't even criticize Israel. But anyway, they're like, Anomaly criticizes Israel too much. He always talks about that, this, that. I'm going to just give a shout out to my extremely Jewish brothers and sisters, the Hasidics and the Orthodox. Listen, say what you want. They always go hard in the paint. They don't listen to anybody. They don't want medical tyranny. They say, I'm not getting that shot if I don't want to get it. They say, I'm going to go 1,000 deep around a bus. I don't care. De Blasio starts acting like a creep. He says, we're coming for you. And they say, listen, every day's finna be a bar mitzvah if you come to my neighborhood. So shout out to the Hasidics and the Orthodox. They go hard in the paint when push comes to shove. Say what you want, but crushing, in my opinion. They just don't listen. And I respect them for that. Someone said, if he doesn't win, how would that benefit us? It's a good question. I don't think it does. But at the same time, if he already won and we're living in worse than Bernie Sanders, how does this benefit us? I don't know. I don't think him losing is going to benefit us, but I also don't think him allowing what's happening right now is in any way, shape, or form benefiting us past nearly the point of no return, and every day he waits. So, no, I hear you. We'll see. Listen, we'll see. I think a lot of people are, I've heard a lot of liberals, they've been watching documentaries, and I've had some liberal women that I talk to, and I've had some liberal men that I'm friends with text me and say, Anomaly, I watched this documentary. And I'm like, oh, word? And they said, I'm looking at Trump in a different way now. And I'm like, okay. So you could see a red wave. I don't know. To me, what I personally want is I want there to be a red wave, but then I want to hold the red wave accountable. So, right now, I would like to see that happen, but then we just can't have whatever just happened during Republicans, because then what's the point of voting Republican if they do this? So I hear you. No, you're right. I think it's a valid point. We're on fire out here. Let's keep it going. I'm having fun. Someone said the Bernie and the Democrats, this will be forever. Well, I will say this, though. I think a Democrat win would definitely jumpstart the revolution. And I don't wish it on the world, but I just don't know what they think they're doing. Like, I don't understand. People put up with it because they haven't tilted the scale so much. Like, they're like, here, take the Trump bucks, and like, listen, we're American. We might be tough sometimes, but I'm like, okay, I'll take the Trump bucks, I'm gonna sit here now, but you got a lot of patriots just watching. So if Democrats win, the con is obviously, I would think it's going to be much worse for the people, but it's going to jumpstart the revolution. And I have faith in the American people either way. So I don't want the Democrats to win, but I'm still not going to give up. I think, either way, if enough people are at the right place, we win. So that's love. Donna just said it appears that Anomaly doesn't see any of these posts. He doesn't read them. What a shame. That's the only one I saw out of all of them. Sorry, Donna. I didn't see the other ones. People even say to me, too, they're like, Anomaly, I saw you had like 10,000 posts. I get like 10,000 comments per thing. So I said, I believe the red wave is coming. Then we'll find out. They got to work on election integrity, though. That's going to be. Yeah, dude, this is kind of funny. The funniest part is this is the worst. It's not funny. It's disgusting. But like, there's no reason that Trump, with all that happened, there's no really reason that he should have jumped up in the polls. But he's actually polling better. He's the only person that could basically screw up the entire economy and way of life. And the Democrats still can't capitalize on that. They're so pathetic. It's not funny what's happening, but it is funny that the Democrats couldn't capitalize on this. They just, everything they do, they just lose. It's like, there's no reason you shouldn't have gained at least 10 points off of an economic collapse, but somehow they're just going backwards. Which is like, liberals are texting me being like, I like Trump now. I'm like, why? They're like, I watched a YouTube documentary. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Let me see. I'm going to read this. Jake said, I hate when you need to use disclaimers every 2 seconds because someone heard a word and they want to take it out of context and basically forgot everything you said before that. I hear you, Jake. I just like to cover my bases because it's like there's so many traps for me, you know, and I know the traps. I'm like a seasoned bear. I'm like a bear if they collaborated with Elon Musk, so I have a little human tendencies. I see all the bear traps. Here's the bear trap. If Anomaly says this, we're going to delete the video. If Anomaly says this, we're going to fact check him. If Anomaly says this, we're going to demonetize him. I see him, and then I get around him. And then I got the left-wing bear trap. They're like, is he going too far right-wing? Do we have to write an article about him in the Daily Beast? And I see those bear traps. I'm like, don't do it, bro. And then I see the right-wing bear traps. So they say, Anomaly's he's a turncoat. Anomaly's, he's secretly trying to get people to vote for Joe Biden. I see all the traps. I got too many. I got vision. I got like John Stockton vision, you know? You ever seen John Stockton? His shorts were that big. Sometimes I wear shorts that are small too, like John Stockton. And he'd look that way, and then he'd pass the ball that way. That's called court vision. I'm ready for all the traps. That's why I do disclaimers, you know? Because I know they're trying to claim that I said something else. Someone said, Butch, you're on the air, brother. Butch Thompson said, I am here on every live stream. The one time I was acknowledged, my stream froze, LOL. Well, you just got acknowledged again, and hopefully your stream didn't freeze again. Dana said, so many liberal friends are saying Trump's our only hope to rebuild the businesses. It's so obvious. It's like no matter what Trump does, he's still always better than everyone. And I've said that probably consistently for at least 2 years now. And then I make one thing, and then everyone says, you can't question the president. He doesn't care. He's not a big baby. He probably likes me. Maybe he doesn't like me, but whatever. He doesn't care. It's like, I still think on his worst day, he still is better than like Lisa Lightfoot or, you know, there's not a lot of talent in Washington. It's actually pretty crazy how not talented a lot of them are. Like they're not even good actors. And he comes through on his worst day, still better than them. But that makes I don't have an excuse for what's going on right now. I want to free America now, not tomorrow, not in phase 4, not in phase 7. I don't need Bill Gates and Fauci to move well, wait till we have our product on the market available. I didn't vote for you, bro. Sorry. Get to more come. Trisha said, I unfriended 3 people today. Feels good sometimes, Trisha. Sometimes you just gotta. I like to. I don't want to. I don't want to be mean, but like sometimes people say stuff to me. I'm like, just unfollow me. We'll both be happier. You know, you don't have to listen to me. I don't have to listen to you. It's a good vibe sometimes. You know, it's like being in a room with like 4,000 people. You don't have to like everyone there, and that's okay. Someone said, I've been skeptical of Trump, but I'm interested in seeing how he handles the next few months. It's always a movie. It's always a show, you know? Someone said, do you know why Fauci and Gates were not bleep, bleep? You know, I'm going to cut that out because I like, I was on my buddy Hotep's stream the other day, and he said, instead of Fauci, he said Faust, Dr. Faust, and he said, I'm doing it for the algorithm to throw off the computers, but, you know, that's why certain words, but I hear what you're saying. I got to throw them off. Because they don't even have, like, humans anymore. They have, like, computers. I'm going up against computers now. They're like, they scan what I said, and they're like, is any of the presidents there? They're like, didn't he say anything about feminism? Didn't he say anything? It's like, leave me alone, computer. You know, I didn't come this far to get censored by a freaking computer. Oh, sorry, Nami, we didn't mean to take your video down. We let the artificial intelligence do it. Well, stop. Stop them. Why are they doing that? Someone said, you ever think of running for office? No, politics is lame. It sounds like a bad time. I'm more of the type of guy to just get a sauna, you know, I'm trying to work hard enough that I could get a sauna that I have access to, like in my vicinity. That's more my vibe. And I like information. I like inspiration. I like culture. I like music. I don't like politics. I don't like maybe when I'm like 70. Melissa said, I'm going to read that because it's a compliment. I need to feel good. Melissa said, you're the most logical of any talk radio I listen to. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate it. It's not a competition, but they lowered the bar. It's like, is everybody an actor? I'm not an actor. Nobody's paying me. To a fault. I should probably get sponsors at this point. I don't know why I don't have sponsors. If anybody has a business, you're trying to sell something, hit me up. I should have sponsors. But I listen to these other people too. I don't feel like I'm the most logical person in the world. I just feel like there's too many liars. Like I talk to people, when I talk to my friends and people I meet, they have logic. And then it's like there's so many, like why are there so many sneaks in talk radio? Not everyone, but you get what I'm saying. Have you talked about Candace Owens being banned on Twitter? Just joined. I mentioned it yesterday. I just deleted the live stream, so we mentioned it. She's not the only one. David Icke got banned on YouTube and Facebook, and she got temporarily suspended, and he got completely deleted. So there's a lot of censorship going on. But yeah, she supported, I guess, a protest. She said everyone go back to work, and they freaked out. But we talked about it yesterday. Someone says, smart stoner, I love him. I look like I smoke a lot of weed. I really don't. I had my moments, but I don't. The last time I smoked weed was not that long ago. I mean, not that, what am I trying to say? It sounds like I'm high now, but I'm not. The last time I smoked weed was not recently, excuse me. It was probably with Roseanne Barr in Hawaii was the last time I smoked weed, which was months ago. And I only did it because I'm not going to not do that if offered. But I don't recommend it. Only where it's legal and you read the label and talk to doctors and such. Debbie said they will have to. Debbie, I'm not going to read that comment, but everyone else should. Great comment. I'm not going to read it personally, but I enjoyed it very thoroughly. Jackie said, where did Ted Nugent, the Trump supporter, go? In fact, I've heard not a word from Hollywood. Where did all the Hollywood haters go? I don't know. I don't follow him on social media. But I think his son hit me up and said he wanted to hang out. I think it was Ted Nugent's son, who I think he's libertarian. Trump made it clear in the beginning. All right, we're going to read. What's up, Barbara? Big Barbara on the air, or little Barbara. I don't know. I just wanted to say a B word, not to be. Barbara said, Trump made it clear in the beginning of this that these were his suggestions, but each state should make their own decisions about the state. Yeah, I get it, but it's like his suggestions, in my opinion, suck. So I don't like his suggestions. I don't like his phase plan. I don't like the fact that he's mad at Sweden. I don't like the fact that he's agreeing with New Jersey more than Georgia. So I understand it's his guide, but I don't agree. Where do we find you if you get totally banned from Facebook or YouTube? I don't think I'm going to get banned, but who knows at this point. But BitChute, Instagram. I don't know why they banned me. I'm pretty low on the totem pole, but they keep going further down, so I'm sure they'll get to me, which is why I stand up for everybody, and consistently I have, because they keep going down. But they're going to have to hear from a lawyer if they try to kick me off. I don't get angry very often, but if they try to do that, listen, I'm a lawyer up. I'm going to call up all my balling friends and be like, I'm going to call up all my friends that have a lot of money and all my friends that are well connected, and I'm going to get a team of like 10,000 lawyers. So hopefully they don't go there. But if that, I'm going to start promoting my email list. I just thought I'm going to make a website for my email list to make it an easier domain, and I'm going to start promoting that all the time so I have an email list. No, yeah, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I will literally assemble a team of 1,000 lawyers. I'll do we'll get every lawyer in every state. We'll make a team, like a superhero team. Michelle said, so you can't speak on anything in fear of censorship, so what can we do about it? Well, no, I can't not speak about everything. I just want to be smart with what I say. For instance, if I'm with my friends and it's 12 o'clock at night, I'm saying something different than I'm saying in a job interview. So that's just kind of how I treat this. It's like there's things I could say, but it's not necessarily censorship. It's like it's not always the place and time. So I try to be smart about it. But overall, what can we do about censorship? That's a good question. I think it needs to come from a legal angle, and I think more politicians should care about it. And I think, I don't know. I mean, there's rumors that Steven Crowder was going to get kicked off YouTube that one time, and then he lawyered up, and he got the right lawyers, and then they backed down. You know, that's just a rumor, but stuff like that, really on a scale, either use other stuff. Like, I'll watch some stuff on BitChute sometimes, and try to support other things, but I don't know. I think it really needs to come from a higher level, or they just censor enough people, and everyone just gets pissed off. So it's the same with America. Social media in America, they're on a fine line. They've censored so much, but the Alex Jones and the David Icke's, they've already built a lot outside of that, so they could kind of get away with it and still stay afloat and make money. But we're at a point right now where it's how far do they want to go? How far does social media want to go? Do they want to kick off all the best people to the point where people don't want to use their YouTube and Facebook are competing, but they keep kicking people off? So eventually they're going to do it far enough, and it's the same with America. We have the First Amendment, we have the Second Amendment. How far are they going to go? How many months are they going to do this? It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So, in this world, you reap what you sow. And I think they're getting very, very dangerously close to that point. So there's many ways we can defeat it on our own. I have my own strategy. Some people have theirs. But on a legal, I think the big scoop needs to come from a legal team, And I think a lot of people have good cases. Nick Sandmann, when he got falsely framed, he lawyered up, I think Hulk Hogan, Dr. Shiva, at a certain point, they both sued Gawker, for putting out a fake story. I think Hulk Hogan won. I can't remember the exact thing, but you get what I'm saying? I'm not a litigious person, but at a certain point, if you get falsely hit that big, you can win in court. It's probably not easy, but overall, I'm guessing that that's a solution on a big scale. Someone said you should ask for an interview with Trump. We'll see. Someone said, I think either Trump is no longer in control or he's believing bad information. Good comment. Could be. I would say I was on my buddy Hotep's stream on YouTube yesterday. He did an interview pretty much of me. And he had the book by Bill Cooper or Milton William Cooper. It's called Behold a Pale Horse. Very famous book. And there's a chapter in that. This book is from the 80s. There's a chapter in the, perhaps takeover and how to do it. And in that book, it shows executive orders. If you have that book, go to that chapter. If not, could look it up or just listen to what I'm saying. So when you declare a national state of emergency, certain things happen, and I can't tell you exactly what's happening now, but there's a lot of people that say when you declare a state of emergency, the president loses a lot of power and other powers gain powers, FEMA and others. So that's a possibility. Even in that book, they were talking about seizing the power, the government seizing the power, and executive, order, Trump, power. This happened just the other day. We'll go right to the White House. This was 2 days ago. Executive order on securing the United States bulk power system. This just happened 2 days ago. It's an executive order to secure the United States bulk power system. So you'll see most conservatives will just, cheer about this and say, he's protecting us from China. And it could be true. That's very possible and likely. But if you want to take the time to go and read that executive order, it's right on the White House website, and you could see what that does to the power structure. So, for decades, people have written about what happens when you declare a national emergency, who gets power, what happens when you seize the power grid or seize the food industry. These are known tactics to some. So that's a good question. That's a good comment. That's why I'm staying even longer today. You guys are on fire. So phenomenal question. Let's keep looking. So it said the Dems are threatening impeachment again. I believe they're holding him hostage in a sense. It's a possibility. That's another good comment. in December, I was one of the only ones, maybe me, Tucker Carlson, like Ted Cruz actually, a few others, talked about the $1 trillion spending bill, which was terrible. And the last year, Trump said he'd never signed a bill like that again. And then he signed a bill like that again and marketed it to his people, and they believed it, raised the smoking age and whatever. But I looked at that bill, and I thought it was a disgraceful bill. But also they were doing impeachment. So my thought with that was, he was afraid, and this is just a theory, but I think it makes a lot of sense. He was afraid that he was going to get impeached because, honestly, all it took was a few Republicans to shift on him. The House was going to impeach him, but was the Senate going to impeach him? Mitt Romney would have impeached him, and a lot of Republicans are not that loyal, I don't think. Some of them are, but I don't think all of them would always be. So my theory and my guess was that he signed that executive order, even though it had a lot of bad stuff in it, because when you have power, you can do things. When you have leverage, and Trump understands business, when you have leverage, you can do a lot in business. Trump's very smart with business, perhaps one of the best. So when someone has leverage over you, they say, hey, if us 5 vote this way, you're gone, bro. You're out of office. So, I think there are games, that's how they work. Even impeachment, that was a big power grab. They knew they probably couldn't get him out, but they had so much leverage in those couple months because he's just 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 votes away from being impeached. Someone said, hey, Anomaly, how is it that Trump hasn't fired Fauci yet? I can't tell you what they're doing. I have no idea. For me, the bombshell was that Newsweek article, which I'd heard, but when Newsweek, a liberal organization, published it, you better bet your bottom dollar I'm going to report that big time. But the fact that, what Fauci was not only doing this whole time, but what he did over the past 10 years is he researched coronavirus and gain in function, which is making less virulent viruses more really contagious. And Johns Hopkins, Harvard, Rutgers, professionals said, don't do it. That's risky. And he did it anyway. And to me, that's a little weird. And, and that's the point man. That's the point guard who's going to call the shots is, with the models that are from the University of Washington, all very, very weird. Is it easier for me to say something about it? Yeah, I'm sitting on my couch. Who cares? So I would assume Trump knows a lot more. So what's going on there? I have zero idea, and I could only speculate. But something's going on from my angle. Whether Trump knows or doesn't know or was deceived or is playing a game, all you really can do is guess. Someone said Trump Town Hall. Finally, he needs to freaking talk to people. It's been like a week. Let's see. All right, I'm going to stay for like 10 more minutes and then I'm going to go eat dinner. Someone said, if Trump's a smart business, is a good comment. Susie said, if Trump's a smart businessman, then why did he file a federal bankruptcy in six times in New Jersey? It's a good question. I'm not gonna make excuses for Trump's bad business endeavors, but I think a lot of people know that filing bankruptcy is not necessarily a bad thing. If you have 50 businesses, they're not all gonna work. So I think filing bankruptcy is the way to save yourself a lot. If it's a failed venture, it's even if it doesn't fail, there's ways to file bankruptcy and then do something else with it. So I don't think filing for bankruptcy is as bad as people think it is. It's not good. You don't want to file for bankruptcy, but when you're involved in 50 ventures, it's not out of the loop. Sometimes it's a way to really save money and push your liabilities or whatever to the side and be like, okay, I clean slate now for other stuff. So someone said taxpayers paid for that research. It's wrong to do considering the risk of a pandemic. That's what I think too. I think it's very risky, and I don't, you know, I don't trust these people, and I think a lot of virologists knew that. They knew it was very risky. They were creating something really that didn't exist, you know. So I understand getting cures and stuff, but you're creating a virus that doesn't exist, and now they're looking for a cure, you know. But they won't. It's all a game. It's all a PR team. They're all a PR team for each other. So that, more than ever, this situation to me just seems like a game. Like at the top, I feel like they know exactly what they're doing, and they'll get the Trump supporters to say China, 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 and then you get China to say Trump, 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 or America, America, and then they'll say the World Health Organization. But who's to say the people at the top of the U.S., China, and the World Health Organization, the most likely theory is that they're all working together, and they all had some sort of part in that Wuhan lab, from the World Health Organization to the, you know, to the China to American tax dollars. So how do I know that this isn't just a big spectacle that they're going to brush over, because none of them want to take responsibility, you know? To me, that's the biggest possibility. That's why I don't play these games. It's like I get enough shares on here. My reach is big, but like on Twitter, there's just people who are just professional like PR agents for just like circle running. They just China, like they'll just say something that Trump supporters want to hear and they'll retweet it, but it doesn't get to the root of the problem. In many ways, it does almost nothing. You know, it's damn. Someone said, do they actually have proof? Well, I mean, it depends who's running the investigation, you know? With a lot of stuff, say with Las Vegas, with what happened in Las Vegas, I don't know. We all heard the story. We all heard what was going on. A lot of people were very suspicious, but, you know, who investigated it? They said, that's it. And then that was it, you know? If you don't have access to that information, all you could do is either believe them or not believe them, and that's it. Someone said, did Fauci not say the Trump administration would face a pandemic? We could play that clip. Fauci, surprise. Nice. We could play that clip. This is from, I think, 2017. Let's listen. I'm not gonna say it. He could say it, because I don't talk about this stuff.
I've been around for a while. Given, as you heard from the introduction, that I have been around, had the opportunity and the privilege and the pleasure of serving in 5 administrations, I thought I would bring that perspective to the topic today, is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave today based on my experience, and you'll see that in a moment, is that there is no question that there will be a challenge the coming administration in the arena. There will be a challenge the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that. But also there will be a surprise outbreak. And I hope by the end of my relatively short...
All right, so let me look up the definition of surprise. Hold on. Surprise. Dictionary, surprise. An unexpected or an astonishing event. The announcement was a complete surprise. Something unexpected. So how can you expect something that's unexpected? How can you predict something that's unexpected? I mean, he must just be a really smart guy. He must just be a wizard of this type of stuff. I mean, especially bizarre when there's other scientists who are literally saying the work that you're doing could cause a pandemic, and I don't think you should do it. It's all very suspicious, and, you know, it's interesting, isn't it? Good question. Larry Jenkins, what's up, brother? He said when Trump, let's scroll back. Don't look at my hand. I'm embarrassed. Larry said when Trump signed the state of emergency, he gave all the power to FEMA. That's what Larry said. Look it up, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. It's a possibility. Someone said Fauci knows it because he was a fortune teller. Yeah, he's just a really, he's like a Socrates. He's like, there's gonna be a surprise very soon. That guy's got it. All right, I got a couple more minutes and I'm gonna roll out, guys. I had a good time, and what I'm gonna do with this one, I'm gonna leave this one up probably for 24 or 48 hours or so. So you can watch this video for the next 24 hours on here. And when they get deleted, I usually personally delete them. I move them to YouTube, or sometimes I delete them, just because I just don't know how they're gonna respond, and these are more loose, so they could always take something out of context. So I'm just like, it was what it was. We'll leave it in the past and we'll move on. But I think I like this one. I think I'm going to keep it and put it on YouTube in a little bit. And then I'll leave it on Facebook for at least 24 hours. So if you want to watch this again, you got 24 hours to do so. And then we got a couple more minutes. Let's see. Someone said, did Fauci get any funding from Gates? I don't know about that. I think U.S. tax dollars funded that Wuhan lab. But as far as Fauci and Gates, I mean, you could find a picture of Fauci with Bill Gates Sr., so they go way back, and some other interesting characters in that picture if you could find it. And Fauci's on the Vaccine Collaboration Advisory Council for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So they're very, they're like Stockton Karl Malone. You know what I'm saying? They're two peas in a pod. Bill Gates is, he's involved with everything. I had a debate yesterday with Nuance Bro, and he was like, he thinks Bill Gates is a really philanthropy, benevolent guy, just really crushing everything. And we had a little conversation about that. But, whether you love him or don't, Bill Gates is involved in a lot of stuff. I mean, you can't find very many pharma companies, vaccine companies, World Health Organization. I mean, the guy's everywhere. Institutes who are making models that are predicting stuff. I mean, chloroquine studies, he's everywhere. It's like, man, that guy really loves America. So, he's everywhere. Yeah, no, he's got a lot of money. And then the debate was, and I was trying not to get caught out of context, because he was saying, do you think he and my statement was, listen, I'm not going to say who's good and who's not, but Bill Gates and Elon Musk, for example, they have two very different worldviews. Donald Trump and Bill Gates have two different worldviews. So I was telling him, I don't agree with Bill Gates. I agree more with, in some senses, Elon, not every sense. In some senses, Trump, not every sense. I don't agree with Bill Gates' worldview. That's just a fact. And he was like, but do you think he's a bad person? Do you think he's terrible? Like, he was like a PR team for Bill Gates. He's like obsessed with the guy. No, I'm just kidding. He's not really obsessed, but he thinks he's like a really benevolent guy or whatever. I was like, listen, I can't, psychologically, I have no idea what he's doing. I just don't agree with his worldview. Maybe he thinks he's saving the world. Maybe he thinks that. I don't know. I'm not going to sit down with him and ask, but I don't have to agree with him. If he says that he thinks population growth is a problem, and if Elon Musk says population collapse is a problem, I don't have to agree with Bill Gates. It's the total opposite of what Elon's saying. And same with Trump. Trump likes nationalism. He likes globalism. I don't have to agree with that. So it was a really weird debate, but overall, so I said Fauci must have used his crystal ball to warn CEOs. He could have done that. Probably not, though, but I hear what you're saying. I'm saying probably not, because they're going to get the algorithm. Normally, said he has a crystal ball to warn CEOs. I'm not saying that. He said that, and it's funny, and we're laughing. Someone said, what about Russia? Do you think they're involved with the vaccine? I have not seen numbers from them. There's a lot of companies who are researching the vaccine. You have Johnson & Johnson. You have a Chinese company. Bill Gates is funding a few. You have GlaxoSmithKline, I'm sure, is probably working on one. I'm not sure, though. there's a lot of companies working on vaccines. It's a big race for the people, as they're racing to save your life. And then you can go outside in 2025 when they tell you it's okay or whatever. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but God for that. It's like, okay, all right. So I said that's why the Musk Gates feud is great. Yeah, it's phenomenal. And honestly, I know a lot of my people, they don't like Elon Musk because he's sending a bunch of Starlink things up there. But here's my thought, and I'm not, don't quote me on it, but like, I don't know much about that. To be quite frank, I'm not a big space guy. That's not my thing. And I don't know what his Starlink things are doing, to be honest. But my real thought would be, if there were two different types of internets, and I'm not defending him per se, this is just my skepticism. If there's two different internets, one where you have these big things in every neighborhood, like right near you, and then one up in space, maybe the one in space is healthier for people because it's further away. It's like, do you want your cell phone right on top of your face for 5 hours, or do you want your cell phone, 20 feet away? It's like, do you want to walk through, and then they're going to say this is a conspiracy theory. Do you want to walk through listen to any doctor. They know you don't want to do massive amounts of certain things all the time. So no matter what it is, whether it's the router, whether it's this, it's nice to have some distance. Same with the microwave. I keep my distance. So maybe it's better to be up in space than it is on the telephone pole outside your house. I don't know that for sure. I'm not saying it's a fact. I still have to do a lot of research, but I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on, but for a weird reason, I've always liked Elon Musk. Even though I don't agree with a lot of the space stuff he's doing, I'm confused by it. I just always really like the guy. Like Trump, I like Trump. Sometimes I disagree with him, but I actually like him. Elon, I really like the guy. I think he's really funny, and when push comes to shove, he seems to be on the side of things that I agree with, but overall. Someone said, Kennedy explains his thoughts of what they are capable on of the star thing a little. Yeah, I'll look into it. It's interesting because I know Robert Kennedy, I think you're talking about, and then Dr. Shiva, they're kind of like fighting. I think Dr. Shiva started it. He's a little bit feisty. Dr. Shiva's a wild boy. He just lets loose. And then Robert Kennedy, swung back at him. I got to look into it. I like both of them to an extent, but I think it's a good little battle. You learn a lot. So I'll see what Rob's talking about. I haven't read that though yet. I like Elon Musk. Listen, I like the guy. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but we'll see. Someone said Gates creeps me out. Yeah, he creeps me out too. Can I say that? Is that gonna mess the censor up? Where can we find your debate last night? I think it's on his Twitch stream. Nuance Bro, his name is, and he has a Twitch. It was on Twitch. It was all audio. It was weird. I'll give you a quick rundown. I don't know who heard it, but it got weird because we're talking. I'm pro shutdown. I'm pro open up, and he wants to like slowly open up or something. Certain things he doesn't want to open up, and he sends me this New York Times graph like in the middle of the interview, and he's like, "See," and he shows me these death rates. And he says, "There's more deaths going on here," and for the first 10 minutes, I was kind of off kilter because I'd never seen the chart before. I didn't even get a chance to research it. He just threw it at me right there, and I was like, all right. But then as it goes on, like 10 minutes into it, I'm realizing, because I'm like, it's the New York Times. They're sneaking something. It's the freaking New York Times. And then I'm looking at the chart, and there's all different numbers. If you're going to study 10 countries over the course of 10 years, you do 10 years for every country. They did 1 year for Spain, 3 years for Germany, 10 years for UK. They didn't do the US. They just did New York. And I'm like, dude, this is the dumbest freaking article. It's all different time periods. I want a 50-year period. Why did they only choose 1 year for one country and 10 years for another? He's like, that's irrelevant. I'm like, that's not irrelevant, bro. That's literally how to deceive somebody. If there's a crazy year, But there was a crazy year 5 years ago, and I only show you 3 years because I don't want to show you the year 5 years ago. That's how they deceive people with statistics. It's so obvious. And he's like, no, it's not. No, it's, and his like audience is getting mad at me. They're like, no, that doesn't matter. And I'm like, guys, this is like low IQ stuff. And I was like weirded out by how dumb they were. I was like, what are you talking about? And then he starts defending Bill Gates. He's like, you're a conspiracy theorist. I was like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. What do I say? He's like, you talk about Bill Gates. And I was like, and then I was like, what do I say about Bill Gates? And I'm like, that's what he does. He's like, do you think he goes to Africa and tries to stop people from having babies? And I'm like, that's literally what he does. It's like, you can look on his website. He believes in reproductive health, which is abortions and birth control. It's not a secret. He brags about it. So, okay, so that's what he does. I don't have to agree with the theory if I think there's a population collapse like Elon Musk. He's like, yeah, but do you think he's a really bad guy? I'm like, I don't agree with what he's doing, but I don't. And he's like, but do you think he means to do it? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, I'm covering my bases because he's trying to frame me as a conspiracy theorist. It was a weird interview. Overall, I crushed. But he kept throwing like charts at me. He's like, what about this chart in New York? And then he shows like more people died in April. I'm like, they could have died from the shutdown. And they're like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm like, dude, what do you think happens? People live longer when they have communities and sunlight and exercise. If you take that away from people, it's going to have an effect. They're like, that's a ridiculous statement. I'm like, dude, it's like the pseudo-intellectuals of the world. It's like people who are really good at like analyzing like this stuff, but if you go deeper, they just like turn into morons. I'm like, you can't have a chart. If you're studying 10 countries, you can't do different numbers for them. It's like, I'm going to study the death rate of every state, but for Massachusetts, I'm going to do 1 year. For New York, I'm going to do 10 years. For Oklahoma, I'm going to do 4 years. Dude, that's like a first grade mistake, but it's not a mistake. That's what the New York Times does to push a narrative. And then it was really, I'm honestly, what I just said is more interesting than the whole debate. You could watch it, but it got a little weird. And I think I was a little mean at a certain point. I apologize, but it was a bizarre debate, but it was kind of fun. Someone said, Out of the Shadows, what's your take on it? I thought it was well done. He brought that up in the interview too. He's like, you're a conspiracy theorist. And I was like, well, how am I a conspiracy theorist? And then he's just like trying to, and then and he's like, he asked, what do you think of the documentary Out the Shadows? And I said, because in that world, the problem in that world is a lot of people exaggerate and a lot of people don't stick to the facts. There's real stuff going on, but for some reason, people in that world don't like to stick to it and they get sloppy, in my opinion. The good thing about that documentary was they were not very sloppy, which is impressive. So I think that documentary is good because they showed you historical stuff. When you're talking about Operation Paperclip, MK Ultra, these type of stuff, it's and a lot of the declassified documents, they're all real. So they did a good job of sticking to history, sticking to facts, and then speculating. But what was good about that documentary is when they speculated, they might have been a little biased, but they told you they were speculating. They didn't make grandiose claims that they couldn't. So I was like, I enjoyed the documentary because I think out of anybody in that realm, they did the best job of sticking to what they knew and being honest when they didn't know it. So I thought it was good. But it's like, man, they try to frame me as a conspiracy theorist. So then, I'm not saying purposely, but then once they do that, then they give the justification. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. What? Look at all my videos. Look at the Dr. Fauci video. It's a Newsweek article. Look at the Elon Musk video. I use proof. They can't even say my one video that's, can viruses be man-manipulated? It's all based on facts and evidence, and I speculate if it happens, can it happen? It could happen. And did it happen? I don't know. Some people think so. It's like, I don't make up conspiracy theories. So, all right. All right, I'm gonna leave, guys. I'm gonna leave this up for 24 hours. This is a good one though, and in general, I'll look real quick. They've been smacking me. I'm good. Don't worry about it. But they've been smacking me on monetization a little bit. I feel like they told me to delete a bunch of videos off my other page because they weren't monetizable or something. So I did it because I was like, all right. They gave me a new set of rules on my World Cloud page. If you've ever seen videos on World Cloud, that's me as well. They said, you can't do this. Like, I can't use C-SPAN videos now or something. I was like, all right, whatever. So I deleted all those videos, and I reapplied, and they still didn't give me monetization. So I was like, they're trying to play little games with me, but it's not a big deal. I'll just stream every day and keep making videos. But appreciate you guys. Maybe I'll stream later, probably tomorrow. And appreciate you for being here. So this is going to stay up. I'll have a new video tomorrow, and keep it rolling. God bless you guys. God bless your family. Stay cool, stay calm. And, you know, if you can do anything, I think at this time, people are saying, what can we do? Just don't be another person who just thinks it's, like, totally cool, because it's really not cool. So that's all. I think it's that really simple. And if enough people did that and got in the ear of the president, I think that would have a bigger impact than doing nothing. And tonight they have a Fox interview. I will watch that, and hopefully he really steps up. We'll see, though. God bless, guys. I'll be back.